What is up, fellow sickos? I am Dan Favale coming at you with my certified fantabulous co-host, the one, the only, Mr. Grant Hughes. We're on to another trade deadline primer over here at HardwoodKnocks. We're quickly reaching, we might be there already. This could be the second podcast of the day from us that you're listening or watching to. We are reaching that territory, folks, because we can't sit on these anymore. Hashtag Giannis Antetokounmpo just blowing up our Bucks trade deadline primer. Before we dive into the Lakers, Grant, how the heck are you doing?
I mean, I'm just reeling. I did not think we'd be recording on the day that Austin Reaves got traded to Cleveland. Just a pretty big. How was that? Was that better? Was that a better extension of the bit?
You burned it too quickly. We should have had an actual discussion. I can't believe they only got Lonzo Ball and Dean Wade for him.
Look, we got a few more of these. We'll get there. We'll get a perfect response at some point. Doing well. Excited to talk about the Lakers. If only because, I mean, they're just like, there's been so much discussion about them lately. I feel like we are obligated to pour some water on like a lot of the nonsense surrounding the Lakers and what they can and cannot do or will or won't do at this deadline.
Right. And I'm sure we'll talk about it throughout, but we do want to talk more about the Baxter Holmes report. That was just, by the way, I love that stuff, and I hope that we can get back to a point where there's more of it that we could read. I know that's not the content people seem to be itching for, but very illuminating. Let's get started, though, with the trade deadline vitals. Are you able to take us through the Lakers trade deadline vitals?
Absolutely. They are about just a little over 7 million, 7.1 over the tax. They are, though, projected to have like 55 million or a little more in cap space this summer. That assumes Austin Reaves cap hold. That also assumes LeBron James is not there. You may have heard he is on an expiring contract for the first time in quite some time. Yeah, no, I know. Maybe we should have led with that. LeBron James might not be back. Were you aware? They can probably get to about 30 million in 2027 cap space. Even if they max out Reaves, that's another interesting, not really germane to the trade deadline, but what they pay Austin Reaves is going to be fascinating. That number, actually, that 30 million plus figure goes up if they can dump Jared Vanderbilt, which we will discuss the likelihood of. They cannot trade an outright first rounder until their 2031 pick. So they also only have a 2032 second to trade right now. With respect to that first round stuff, that will also change this offseason. And that's a relevant detail when we're discussing what their options and aims might be.
Yeah, and so I want to start here because you mentioned the Reaves number, and he's been injured too, so this is all just murky territory. Do you view him as untouchable, especially with the LeBron stuff sort of floating around?
Untouchable. Pretty close, I think, just because if you assume LeBron is gone and you want a second playmaker with Luka, which I think you still do, the blueprint, the Kyrie of it all as a sort of guide for how you want to build around Luka, or I don't know, throw in Jalen Brunson, the previous Jalen Brunson 1.0 as like an example of what kinds of players you want around Luka. I think he's pretty close to untouchable. Like, what is the scenario where you're moving him? That's an unfair question, but
so I think that this obviously it's if we get bowled over by an offer, but I look at it through the lens of, do you think that you can build a defense that is sustainably good enough when Luka and Austin Reaves are just your two backcourt players? And I know that Austin Reaves he has more size. You mentioned Jalen Brunson has more size than him, but if you're the Lakers, it gives you very little margin for error at other positions to where DeAndre Ayton can't be your long-term starting center.
No.
Rui Hachimura is great, but like, what type of playoff minutes can he play if he's going to be one of your primary wings? You could just say, you just need to upgrade the LeBron spot and get someone younger and better who's there. That's we're looking at, I think if you're committing to the Reaves and Luka, which, to be fair, Reaves, if he doesn't get injured, is probably making the all-star team. That's how good he was. He showed he could carry lineups, not just without both Luka and LeBron.
Right.
With all of that said, you're looking at minimum, to me, well, you need an elite wing and then an elite defensive center. And they have neither of those things right now. And so I think if they make the calculus of, well, is someone going to give us 2 or 3 first-round picks for Reaves in advance of free agency? And does that, are we better off going that direction? We do have cap space where the Lakers, I'm not shopping Reaves, especially, I don't know, between free agency and then his injury, that probably hurts his value a little bit, and teams know they have to pay him. So what's the team that's giving you more than 2 first-round picks for Reaves, knowing they have to max him out. But it's just, I do think it's an important exercise to go through of, well, how are you building out? Because under Rob Pelinka, they have done a terrible job of getting players who play both ends of the floor.
Yeah,
they stumbled into Anthony Davis, and that's like basically it.
I think that's fair. I would say I'm pretty comfortable with him and Luke. Like, this would be a different conversation if Reaves hadn't looked quite as spectacular as he did offensively. Just because, like, I feel like you'll understand when I say this. Like, he's not Kyrie Irving, but like the level he was playing at was like pretty close to like a Kyrie level of efficiency and effectiveness, and really statistically probably above it, but with small samples. He's played 23 games as we're recording this. If he's the last year Austin Reaves, who's still like 25-5 on good efficiency, I'm more concerned about that not being good enough to offset the defensive challenges, or I'm more concerned about that just requiring you to hit a lot of home runs on your your two-way role guys. Right. I think I know maybe this isn't fair, and you can maybe remind me to stop doing this, but like, I don't know, Dallas figured it out. You go get PJ Washington and Daniel Gafford, and you have a healthy Derek Lively, and your defensive infrastructure is like, that's enough to make a finals. Like, you know what I mean? Like that. It's not easy. You would love to have more two-way guys and not have just like two offense only players be your main pillars. But I think it also helps that Luka is essentially going to guard forwards all the time. So it's not like, it's a little different than like the Lillard McCollum Blazers backcourts. Fair. Where it's like, or even like Mitchell's been better, but like the Mitchell Garland, it's not the same as having two smallish, you have to guard guards, lead playmakers, just because Luka is effectively like, he can sort of only guard power forwards, so that also makes that makes me feel better about Reaves being, he doesn't have to be untouchable, but like, no, he's going to be here and we're going to pay him like a star.
Well, let me put my Rich Paul hat on for a second. Would you prefer to have to build around Luka and Jaren Jackson Jr. or Luka and Austin Reaves?
That's a different question. If you can give me Jaren Jackson Jr., I will join Rich Paul and you wearing the hat and saying like, that just makes more sense. Having I was going to say having a player like Jaren Jackson Jr., of which there are like, oh wait, like how many, maybe.
He's such an imperfect player, but he's also just such a hard archetype to replicate.
Right. If Jaren Jackson Jr. is actually on the table, you could talk me into moving Austin Reaves for him. What do you think? You take the Rich Paul hat off and be Dan for a second. Are you interested in that sort of reorienting of the team?
Well, but what happens at that point is, are you bringing, this is, to me, one, it's happening over the offseason when they have more picks.
Of course.
Unless you think, like, does one first round pick? No? Okay, I was just asking. No. Okay. Like, now you need your secondary scorer, because I think Jaren Jackson Jr. kind of had that year and a half where it was, all right, this guy's expanded his bag, and now I'm of the mind, maybe alongside Luka, it's different having him as the number 2 option, but with Reaves, you can look at it and say, oh, we have like 2 number 1s basically. And so is it easier to find what you believe is going to be, is it easier to insulate or properly build around Luka defensively, or to find the second option?
I think that it's easier to find, like, I don't think if you have Luka, your second guy needs to be as good as this year's version of Reaves was for the offense to like be very dangerous.
Okay.
So, you know what I mean? I think it's easier to find a lesser version of Reaves, or just we're trading Reaves in this hypothetical, but like, the version of Reaves that we saw the last 2 years prior to this one is probably good enough as your second creator next to Luka. It's way harder to say, like, because what have all the discussions about the Lakers like failings been about this? It's just like the defense isn't good enough, that like there's not enough interior punch from the center. There's not enough, like, you might need a Jaren Jackson type defender / two-way guy up front that just feels harder to find, and it feels more important to a team led by Luka. I think.
Do you think that their offer, if they just so they have cap space, so in theory you could say if Memphis wants any of their players, they could have them, let's say. But 3 first-round picks for Jaren Jackson Jr. and Memphis just doesn't have to take back any money. Is that even an appetizing offer?
For Memphis, I mean,
So it'd be 26, 31, and 33. And you could, let's say they include swaps.
yeah, what man? So you could just, which is like kind of funny money, right? Like Memphis could leave this saying like we got 6 first-round assets for Jaren Jackson Jr. I mean, if you're the Grizzlies, I think the only thing that gives me pause is I would wonder how much value there is in shorting the future of Luka Doncic. There might be some.
Why don't they call Nico and ask? He might give them some.
How's that going? Right. Yeah, I don't know. I'm interested in that. That's an off-season thing, though, obviously.
Now, that's at a point where you're basically building around 3 max guys with Reaves, Jackson, and Luka. But that's as far as just like an intuitive 3, like that's super intriguing to me.
Yeah,
if you're able
then you're like, we just need. Well, then you need a couple. You need 2 3-and-D like wing size players, which is not easy, but maybe you get those guys on the cheap because everybody wants to come be a part of what you would assume is a contender with those other 3 guys.
Well, so what does this team need? I feel like we've said it, like we can just get it through quickly, but it feels 2-way wings. And I think they need Jackson Hayes has been pretty good this year. DeAndre Ayton has been DeAndre Ayton is how I would probably categorize it. So I would say they need an upgrade.
He was who we thought he was.
Right. I'd say they need a center upgrade. Like those are the 2 things, right? They don't need another offensive creator because Reaves will be, and LeBron is still, he's 41 and he's still pretty good.
Yeah. No, I think that's right. What would you, if I don't, maybe I don't, it's hard to keep talking about them without stepping on the whole, like, they're probably not going to do anything. Let's whisper. They're not going to do anything meaningful at the deadline because they just have way more assets over the summer. But if you had to pick, would you focus on the center position, or would your energy be more directed towards like, we need someone that is the size of Rui Hachimura that also can play defense? Like, is it wings / forwards, or is it just the big?
Are you speaking this season or generally?
At the moment, as you're analyzing this team today, like if you're making a deadline move to stop the slide that they've kind of been on for several weeks, is it center or is it a wing / forward?
It's center for me for 2 reasons. I think as imperfect as the results will still be, regardless of who you put there, they can just cover up for more things by being around the basket than if you have a wing defender. And the other thing to me is I think you can get a center who's not just in your rotation, but if you're, I would start Robert Williams III on the Lakers tomorrow if they had him. And so you can get someone like that without having to give up your 1st-round pick in theory.
Yep. And Williams is a different example because he's expiring. I agree that it's center, by the way, but also like in any hypothetical, like that was a bad hypo because it's not just like the Lakers aren't just concerned with this year. Obviously, like they've been, a lot of what they've done to this point suggests like we're kind of like this year is whatever. We're thinking about the Luka only version of this team. So they're in terms of the centers you might go get, like your Claxtons, your Jared Allens, your Gaffords, whatever. Like those are all guys that you would keep, and they would be in the middle next year and beyond, right? Like that. It's harder to do that as I'm looking at options if you're focused on wings, I think.
And that brings up another interesting question, though, is how aggressive should they be, broader strokes, whether they are getting a wing, whether they are getting a center? Because as we mentioned, you could trade 1 first-round pick now, or you will have 3 available to you over the summer. And so it seems like a no-brainer, but it does get, I know they're not building anything around LeBron anymore, but you have LeBron, and Luka's Luka now too. It's not just, well, Luka's under the age of 30, so we don't need to do anything this season. So I think the conversation to me is more of a conversation because it's not like they have all these seconds or intriguing players to throw around. I think that their most intriguing assets, if you're moving away from giving up a 1st-round pick, is, well, you have a lot of expiring contracts. And so if you're willing to punt on cap space for this summer, which their plan initially, or maybe that was the Clippers, was 2027. So if you're punting on caps, you could take back someone who's maybe making money next year. And is that how you're getting value? But from your perspective, how aggressive should they be this season?
I don't think very aggressive. So to kind of outline what you're talking about, between Hachimura and Gabe Vincent and Maxi Kleba, there's just under 41 million in expiring salary. So that's enough to get you in the conversation, not for the absolute apex names, which mostly aren't available anyway, but with that one first rounder, if you can give someone 40 million in expiring salary, like that's compelling. But you're
To get you
probably
AD?
I don't think he'd be a fit there. I still think that the cap space argument just preserving it goes farther with the Lakers than it does anywhere else, other than like maybe
For sure.
Miami, I guess. Like it just that has to be a factor in your thinking. It's not like, well, Utah's positioned to have this much. It's like, okay, what's going to happen with that? The Lakers, especially with Luka and with like a new ownership group, that it's different because it's not baseball, but it's like it's hard to find an ownership group that's been more aggressive and successful in drawing in major talent than the Dodgers ownership group, which now runs this team too. So like, I don't know, just everything points to cap space being, I don't know, even more disproportionately valuable for the Lakers than it has been in the past. So that would just be the thing that informed my decision making more than almost any other factor. Is like, I do think, as dead as we talk about free agency being, and as like pie in the sky as we talk about cap space sometimes seeming, for them, it's just different. I don't know. You could correct me if you think if you disagree, but it's just like
I'm
that
sorry.
has to be priority one.
It was different the moment they acquired Luka Doncic. If we needed any further evidence, it was things. LeBron going to the Lakers, Anthony Davis insisting on he would only go. They gave up a lot to get him, but only go to the Lakers. Things just pop up for the Lakers that aren't Miami, New York, whatever. They just don't pop up for other teams. And also, I think for the Lakers, this is more true than any other team. Cap space can be used for more than free agency. It could be used in trades. And the Lakers are a team that you never see the lopsided deal of, oh, the star was just sent into cap space for picks. I hate taking the stance. Like, that might just happen for the Lakers because the right star decides they want to go for the Lakers. And if they don't have these blue chip prospects, teams are going to say 3 first-round picks, 2-3 swaps, and we don't have to take back basically any money. Sure.
Yeah. So I mean, it's just to speak about it any other way is just like to ignore reality. I think it's just like, sorry, 29 other teams, we don't feel great having to do this either. But like, the Lakers are exceptional in this regard. It's just sort of undeniable. So yeah, that informs my thinking on their deadline.
So let's bounce around a couple names, and I just want to know if you would give up your first. Like, are these players worth giving up your first round pick?
Oh, good. I have some for you too. I imagine they'll overlap.
So let's go back and forth. Herb Jones.
That's pretty close. I would definitely think about that for 1 first and some expiring money, probably. Yeah,
literally all they have to offer. So,
yeah. Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, just that's assumed. Okay. How about what are your thoughts on Peyton Watson?
Ooh, not on my board.
I am cribbing from Dave McMenamin wrote up something the other day that's got some names on it. That Peyton Watson was the one that jumped out to me because he was also not on my board.
That's interesting. Do you
UCLA guy?
Do they run enough off-ball actions for him to be valuable on offense for them when he's not going to have the ball? Because a lot of what has happened in Denver's we've seen with him on the ball.
I'm intrigued by Peyton, the developed Peyton Watson as like a tertiary creator, like attacking defenses that have sold out in other areas. I don't know. I mean, and then,
but if you have Reaves and Luka, how available is that? Because in Denver right now, it's all right. No Jokic, so that's a big factor that's not there. In LA, it's
just the athleticism and like we talked about, like, if you're not getting a center, like your needs are on the defensive perimeter and just just juice the athleticism like that. I don't know if I would. Him and Herb Jones is an interesting would you, wouldn't you, if it's the first and money. Like the Nuggets side of it is like, well, how are they going to be able to, beat a restricted free agent offer for him? I mean, probably. I think you can if they want to, but that might make it easier for you to get him.
Tari Eason.
I was going to take a drink of my cup and you stopped me cold. I guess if I like the others better. I don't know why.
Okay.
I,
You
I
and
like
Mort are on
Watson.
completely different wave. Mort would basically trade Wemby for Tari Eason at this point. It sounds like.
I mean, yeah, okay. I guess I'll accept not being as. Where are you on it? Would you do that?
I wouldn't do it.
Okay.
I just don't know if he's ever going to log enough minutes. And I think that, yeah, he created a ton of defensive chaos for them. But giving up the first for someone you also have to pay. So even with Peyton Watson, kind of takes away the, like Herb Jones is, okay, we know what this guy costs for the next 4 years or whatever it is.
Yeah.
You don't know what Peyton Watson or Tari Eason's
yeah.
going to cost you.
Andrew Wiggins will cost you $30 million when he picks up his player option for next year. Does he
Which honestly
get your
is
attention?
like, he's fringe to where I don't think you're getting him without giving up the first round pick, but that pick is so far out. If I'm the Lakers, I don't think I could, but he is probably almost exactly what this team needs.
And look, Luka knows if he runs into Andrew Wiggins in a playoff series, he's going to get locked down. So you just avoid that possibility altogether by getting Wiggins on Luka's team, because we know what Wiggins can do to Luka in a playoff series. That's all irrelevant because the Warriors are going to trade for him back to warm my heart. It's your turn. Go ahead. I gave you Wiggins.
Who else do I have on this? Wiggins was the next name on my list. I don't know if I have any other. Would they give up a first round pick for that? I did have circled. I just can't imagine this team doing it.
Say it.
Mikal Bridges.
That's not who I thought you were gonna say. He fits what we're talking about, sorta. I don't think I mean, you have to give up a first and expirings for Bridges, don't you? Like that's a.
Do you?
What
do you?
I mean, he's worth 5. He's worth 5, Dan. We know it. The market spoke. That's interesting. I think I'd probably do that. DeAndre Hunter, that's probably a hard no. Keon Ellis, you could probably just sign him from
and that's
wherever
also,
he winds up.
Yeah, that's not for like. I'll give up the second for him for sure.
Mm-hmm.
What about Lou Dort?
Oh man. Yeah, I think I would do that because he can guard the guys Luka can't, and he can guard the guys Reaves can't. That checks a lot of boxes. Jonathan Kuminga, can I interest? You're not probably giving up the first for that, but
are the Warriors giving a first in that scenario?
He scored 30 points in like 29 minutes, Dan, before he got hurt again. So
did you see the meme I posted in our Discord? Go to our Discord to see it, but it was when he re-entered the rotation before getting injured. It was the Joker Batman thing where it feels like you and I are destined to do this for, because now the Warriors all of a sudden might not trade him.
Right. I just end it. I don't just make it stop.
What about this? Is the owner's already come out and said he's not available. But Dylan Brooks, him and LeBron on the same team would be hysterical.
That's fun. I mean, would LeBron just officially announce he's not coming back if that happened?
He just retires on the
spot. Like this is the last straw. Yeah, I have never been a Brooks guy, but it's hard to argue with the results where everywhere he goes, the team gets better. And so, yeah, I feel less good. Weirdly, I almost want the Watson or who else? Herb Jones type more than I want Brooks, just because like his offense like just drives me nuts. The aggression and like the fadeaway, like he's been great, but like I'd rather have the more like supplementary, the guy who recognizes he's a supplementary scorer. He's
shooting like double the percentage on turnaround fadeaways than he is on wide open 3-pointers, which crazy. Is just like that's so stupid.
Yeah, look, it's working for him, but that doesn't feel like the best fit offensively.
I have 2 more names from the same team in the first round pick category.
Okay.
And I wasn't sure if I was going to include them, but we're just caveating this with just asking questions. Jalen Suggs or Anthony Black?
Oh, interesting. I mean, Black has to. Does he? I was going to say Black has to be like has to cost you more because he's cheaper and he's healthy, but like Suggs is just like, can't you imagine Suggs? If you get Suggs for 1 first, you gotta.
The Magic looking at Duck that you have to involve another team, but it's the Magic are saying we have to pay Anthony Black more than Suggs. We don't want to be in salary cap hell. So we'll get expirings this year, rope in a third team to help them get out of the tax this year. And that's how it's done.
Yeah. I mean, from the Lakers perspective, I think either one of them would be worth your first. But you're also
who's more likely to go for that of expirings than the first? Is it Suggs? And but the Suggs deal seems like so much money, but it's declining, and so it
Mhm.
bottoms out as like 13% of the salary cap in his final year. But
I think
he's played in more than 55 games once.
that's the thing,
Once.
right? And like, is how often does that trajectory reverse itself? That like it's just you're going on hope, like more than like actual information or precedent. If you think Suggs is going to
So it
be a
sounds like a
70
no
game
from the
guy,
Lakers for you.
I think I still might do it
I
because he's
might
still
do it too
good if
because
he's
he's so
healthy.
freaking good.
Yeah. Black is. Do you think the Magic are there where they're already like? I really like Anthony Black. I'm just like ecstatic that this year is happening for him. But do you think the Magic are at a point where they're like, we probably got to move off of Suggs because we know Black is going to cost so much? Like, is that established yet? Are we sure yet?
I don't no, because
I
even
don't
if
think
they
so either.
have to, they're gonna know. Like, even, let's say they extend him this summer, they have another year before he's mega expensive. So I don't think. But if, and I know you don't want to short a team that has Luka, but the Lakers are putting like their 2031 or 2032 pick on the table. You have to at least think about it for
Yeah, yeah.
Suggs, or I mean, maybe even for Black. I don't know. Like, Black is shooting better than Suggs from three this year, so maybe it is
Mhm.
just Suggs. I don't know.
And Suggs really does just have the 1 year where he shot it too. So it's in addition to the health stuff. It's like, I don't know. Black is really. I'm again just happy to see Anthony Black becoming Anthony Black. That's been fun. Let's see
Do you
what
have
else
any
we
other
got.
first round pick guys, or I have a
I don't
couple.
have. No, we exhausted my list.
So I don't know how many like non first round pick guys you have, but I'll just throw a bunch to you for rapid fire.
Mhm.
So you're looking at expiring money, and then the hope so it's either, if they're expiring money, you're hoping the Lakers 2032 pick is enough, or are they taking back some type of other contract as part of it that has money into next season. Keon Ellis, Robert Williams III, those all seem like no brainers. I'm
Yeah.
not sure how involved the owner is with this team now. We've seen some smatterings of reports, but if they are just looking to cut costs because the season has gone off the rails, Dean Wade
Hmm.
would be excellent for this team.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you think the idea of Dean Wade is excellent? I think. I wonder if we're to cite a current Laker, are we Maxi Klebeing Dean Wade, where we're like, remember when he was this? And I'm not. Are we
Yeah,
sure
but
he still is
he's
this?
still that. Like, Maxi Kleber is so far away from what we thought he was. Like, Dean
What
Wade is
year do
just
you
still that.
when we refer to like remember when for Maxi Kleber, is that like 2021? Are we is
I
it
think
like
it's
that
around.
long ago?
It was like
Man,
close to the pandemic, maybe around the
it
pandemic.
does feel kind of yeah. What a player he was for a hot minute there. Yeah, I like all those guys. I does Najee Marshall is probably going to cost you a first, as I'm
It's
just
definitely going to cost you
seeing.
more than a second, unless
I missed him
are
on my
you taking
list.
back Klay Thompson as part of that deal? Maybe that's how you get Najee Marshall.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, that might get you down to a second. Because and again, the money you can make that work. What does Dallas want to? Najee Marshall is one of is like weirdly in like demand. Not weirdly, he's in demand and maybe gettable. I don't know, but probably not for this team. Yeah, that was the only other name I had forgotten to mention.
I have Ochai Agbaji. Not going to give you much offense, but just someone come in defensively.
Yeah, yeah, maybe make some threes. I mean, it's not that long ago he went for a first. So if you get him for a second, that's
Well, he's
probably
about to
pretty
be
good
an
business.
RFA, so I don't even know if
Yeah.
and look at the Raptors are looking to get out of the tax. So if you could rope in a third team, I don't even know if you need to give up the
Hmm.
second round pick to do that. I don't. This is iffy. Terrence Shannon Jr.
Hmm. Not as important as maybe he was expected to be. I could see so it from Minnesota's perspective, you're just happy with the pick and you're ready to say that this isn't going to happen here.
Yeah, you're like, all right, we'll take a 2032 second, and that's how it's going to be done. Yeah, that's why it was
Man,
iffy for me.
has he fallen that far? Maybe. I don't know.
He's.
I mean,
I think it's injuries, but figured I'd ask.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, Dorian Finney-Smith would be funny if the Rockets are just looking to get out. What about Vince
They-
Williams Jr.?
hmm. Yeah, I could see that. Now you got me thinking other Grizzlies. Is there anybody else? I mean, you want to take a shot on Gigi Jackson and see if there's any defensive like production in a frame that suggests there is defensive potential.
Do we think
Uh,
that JJ Redick murders him? I feel like that just seems like a
We should have a separate list of guys that would just like turn JJ Redick's hair immediately white. Just like who else can we send to the Lakers that would make him go insane?
Would
That
you
was
take
yeah.
on? I wonder if they would give you picks for this, because then there is the extra year of it. But Terrence Mann,
I mean, he does kind of have the jack of all trades reputation, like positionally. But he's not expiring, is he? He's got
no,
another.
I think he's got another 2
couple.
years after this. Yeah.
Yeah, that's one where this is the thing. It's like, who do the Lakers target for this second round tier that we're talking about that also doesn't have money going out? Because we spent time talking about how their cap space is such a priority.
I think a year is fine. I don't know I don't know how important cap space is this summer to them.
Yeah.
Obviously, but yeah, Mann doesn't come off the books until after 27, 28.
Right.
But maybe you're getting picks to take him on.
Maybe. Yeah. And then you could theoretically, I don't know. I'm not in love with that one.
This would have been a good first round pick tier name. I think you mentioned him too, but would you give up your first round pick for Nick Claxton?
I mean, he's better than Ayton.
Spicy.
Well, I'm just like, let's start there. That's our point of order. He's better than DeAndre Ayton. Any opposed? And that is kind of like, I think man, because when you say, would you give up your first for him? You're also saying, are you willing to give up the ability to use 3 firsts?
Correct.
In the summer. So I think maybe in light of that, I would change some of my answers to would you give up a first for this guy? Because it's really like there's more involved. So Claxton definitely fills a need, but the opportunity cost is really high for him, for all these guys. You know, that's so it's fun to throw names out, but I do think at least I haven't factored in enough. Like, it's not just a first that you're sacrificing here.
I don't think we've named someone that realistically you should give up the first round pick, like to give up the opportunity to trade through it. Yeah.
Yep. That's the key. That's when I referred to earlier of like, we're going to circle this point and eventually have to say it, but it's like that's it. It's not, you're not just trading a first. You're kind of just setting it's not a perfect. And you're setting 3 on fire. You're just saying, we don't think we can get somebody with these 3 for you. That'd be the only scenario where it makes real sense to trade this first, is if you're just like, for somehow you conclude that in July or on draft night 26, there's not going to be someone worth giving up 3 firsts for. Yeah. And you just like sort of can't know that.
Day'Ron Sharpe for a non-first round guy, but you need more than the 1 second is the problem. And I don't think Dalton Connect is going to have too much juice. So like Dalton Connect in the second, but Day'Ron Sharpe would be, okay, he has money on the books for next year, but it's a team option and it's less than $7 million.
Yeah. Yeah.
So can you get another second somehow? I mean,
you probably
could you do, is this stupid to do if do you trade Rui, who I think you could get at least multiple seconds for, maybe an end of first rounder, and then you're using that, or would you prefer them to just keep those picks to load up on the deal?
So I was going to ask you that too. Like, but then aren't you, if you're trading Rui for seconds, aren't you taking back money that probably goes out beyond this season? Aren't you taking back non-expiring money?
Well, I think the goal would be or make it like a 3-team deal where, or the Nets take, is it Rui to Toronto sending, and then you're getting Day'Ron Sharpe from,
so you're
something like
in this hypothetical, so you're getting a much cheaper player who might have money going out and seconds for Rui Hachimura.
Right. Like, what if you could get Ochai? It's like a multi-team setup. You get Day'Ron Sharpe, Ochai Agbaji, second round picks by sending out Rui Hachimura. You're kind of because Rui's going to be a free agent himself and super valuable scorer around this team, but that's not going to be, in general, the offense is not going to be the Lakers' primary. You could also trade Jake LaRavia, would be another guy that I think would get you seconds as well.
Yeah. I mean, I think you're right. I think it seems tricky to not eat into too much of your cap space, get a player that's going to help you now and in the future, and get seconds using the tools that they have. It's possible, but like, yeah, I don't know. Like, so Rui's got some value, but like Vincent and Kleba are just strictly like nobody's giving assets for those guys, right? Unless it's just to get off money and give you back worse money, right? Like that. I don't know what those guys are getting you.
Yeah, I think I think you're right. Do you have any other names, or you want to get into some takeaways from that Baxter Holmes piece?
Oh yeah, let's talk about that. We haven't really
You
discussed it too much.
you wrote
Curious
about
what you.
it, so I
Yeah,
want to know
well, I
what
mean, I
your
wrote about just for everybody's probably read it by now, but it's a really deeply reported with lots of good sources, just talking about I don't know. It's ultimately a story of like family betrayal and like dissolution related to the sale of the Lakers. But in it, the thing that I ended up writing about was just like the LeBron of it all, and the paragraphs referencing him make up 3% of the piece probably, but as all things must, this things circle back to him, and it just to me. It was just illustrative
you
of
sound like LeBron now. I hope. Did you see the quote he had on it? It's like there's always
that he
going to
just
be stuff. He said,
well,
especially
yeah,
about me. So
he's right. He's right. Guess
not
what?
wrong.
He's right. He's right. No, I think in some ways, well, so it just again, people have read it, but like the relevant stuff is just how Genie Bus was. I don't know what word you'd use. There were different adjectives attached to each of these, but like felt a certain type of way about LeBron kind of not taking responsibility for the Westbrook disaster. For, there were moments where she wanted to trade him to the Clippers or didn't want to give him an extension. There's 2 or 3 other instances of her just didn't like the amount of clout that Clutch and LeBron had over the team. And AD, I think, was kind of roped into that. I don't know. To me, it was just kind of like it all rang true. It all seemed kind of fair. It all seemed kind of unsurprising. But the takeaway to me was just like, if ever there was any doubt about LeBron's like current feelings towards and stature with the Lakers, like this kind of takes care of that, right? Like to me, this is just, he's going to be a free agent. He couldn't get a contract extension. Like those were pretty clear signs that like, hey, LeBron, we, the Lakers, are not built around you anymore. You're not the central figure anymore. If there's any doubt about that, like now this coming out is just like, from his perspective, at least, he's like, well, guess what? I'm not messing with you anymore either. That felt like what the result of this was going to be. I don't know we haven't really gotten into it. What are your thoughts on it?
I would agree. I think they probably reached that point though when the Lakers didn't give him an extension, and you saw the Rich Paul release about them evaluating their options over the summer. Yep. And so that felt like almost the point of no return. Mm-hmm. And also, look, I know there's a lot of baggage that comes with having LeBron. And now as he gets older, like what he's doing on the court is not necessarily going to be worth all of it. But this is supposed to be a franchise that's known for the excellent treatment of its stars. And this is a pretty shitty way to have LeBron sort of usher out. But I guess we shouldn't expect anything less when Jeannie oversaw the way that she pushed everybody else of her family out. And it's, look, she's had to go through a lot, and she has oversawn like some success with the Lakers, but I don't know. She kind of seems like she sucks at her job, and we need to talk more about it. Or at least sucks is like, what did you're mad because LeBron was absolutely the savior. Like you didn't do anything other than carve out cap space and be in Los Angeles and be the Lakers.
For sure. There's a read on this that I think is fair. That is the Westbrook thing's a little different because, like, if that was LeBron, like, everyone knew that was dumb.
You know whose fault that is then, though? It's Pelinka's, it's Genie's, because part and parcel of your job is to keep the stars that you have in check. And if you're giving them free reign to run the franchise, if you thought Clutch had too much influence over what's happening, look in the fucking mirror. That's your fault.
I mean, a couple things too, like within Baxter's piece, like there's stuff about just like how often the Lakers made the playoffs when Jerry Buss was alive, and like how often they had losing seasons, and the before and after of it is stark, right? So like with Jeannie in charge, like this team's success is based on LeBron's choice to come to the Lakers. Like, and so if you feel like you're not getting enough credit as an owner for this most recent title they had, or for whatever success they've enjoyed since you've been in charge, like you're kind of wrong, because the reason you had success is because LeBron came to you. You don't get credit for like going out and getting him. Like, no, he chose to come there for a lot of different reasons, some of which were not basketball related. Like if he doesn't do that, you don't get Anthony Davis. You don't win that title. Like So to feel like you're not getting enough credit is just like that.
That's what the franchise valuation is for. I'm sorry, which owner? The whole fact that the owner is the one getting the trophy at the end. I thought Clay Bennett did it right with the Thunder, where it was like he got out of there really quickly after they won the title. I'm not giving Clay Bennett credit for why the Thunder. No, all you do, like the franchise valuation is your recognition. Like this is just like they don't even. Sam Presti feels like he was an exception, got a ton of credit for building the Thunder, but like executives, that's just how this shit works. The people who are on the court putting in all that work, the staff that's like in the analytics, the coaching department, like they're gonna get more credit than the C-suite because they did a bulk of the work. Like that's I just find that logic so fucking stupid.
No,
not you.
That's true. That's true across the board. But in this Lakers case in particular, because LeBron just was like, "I'm coming there," and in the report, it's like he decided that in 2017, like before a year before
that in 2014 when he
probably had it mapped out. Like before he went to the Heat, he's like 4 years there, back to Cleveland, then Lakers. That's how. But like, I'm agreeing with you in like where the credit belongs, but in the Lakers situation in particular, less credit should go to ownership because it's just like he just picked you. You didn't swing some mega deal. And like even extended to the Luka thing, like that fell in your lap too. That you were lucky.
Nico picked you.
Right. Like really, like there's not, I mean, it's much easier to point to dumb contracts the Lakers have signed, bad trades they've executed. Than it, there's way more examples of that than like, man, what a success that signing.
Austin Reaves and Alex Caruso are the two crowning examples. Only one of them is still in LA because the Lakers let Alex Caruso leave in the first place.
Remember back to like the Lance Stevenson, Rajon Rondo offseason where it's like, even in the second that stuff started happening, everyone's like, what are we doing? There's way more moments of that sentiment than there are of like golf claps for the Lakers, like tactical acumen. And that, So
that's not Jeannie alone, by the way. This isn't to say like
the buck stops with her,
right?
I mean, it's her team,
and I think that's the problem. Is like, you're gonna get like a lion's share of the blame when you're hiring the wrong people. But I will say, if she had a problem with how she was portrayed in the story and about firing her siblings and then Janie begging to resign, was like that was the part that was I can't feel a ton of empathy for these people that are just fighting over this $1 billion asset.
Well,
like it's just it's honestly it's only a little relatable because HardwoodKnocks is $1 trillion asset, so we're just a step above. But it's like from a family perspective, like that kind of sucks. And if you actually said that to whether your brothers were good at their jobs or not, that you really shouldn't have been born, which that was my biggest like I just found that so odd. Why was there an agreement after you gave a child up for adoption that you would never have a kid with someone else? Like, what is hey, you're a parent. I'm not. What would incite you to feel that? I just don't.
There were several elements of that whole thing where I was like, I don't think I'm understanding what I'm reading right now because this doesn't make any sense to me. So that's kind of still where I'm at on that one. It's like, that needed to be framed differently for it to make sense. I don't know. Yeah. I just think the takeaway is that, and this is a real black mark on your legacy, is that you don't feel sympathy for billionaires. And I just can't.
It's rough stuff.
I think they've earned it all, Dan.
They applied for a triple P small business loan. They lost, like there was just, do you remember that?
Yeah.
They're like, oh, wow, we didn't know. Like we didn't. That is just like, I don't know. I think that she's honestly, if anything, I think Jeannie Buss and a lot of just the Lakers in general probably skated by on stuff that's happened and that they really had no control over. And if they don't even win that title with LeBron and AD, we're probably having like an entire different discussion about
of course. And like that was the outlier. They've had some rough, I mean, before that it was brutal. You know, going through, they had several like between Lonzo and Ingram and who else am I forgetting? Randall. Like they've had several shots at like
they're
really
like
high picks because they were terrible.
But they're not hits type deal. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. No, I don't know. I don't know. I don't have a whole lot else to add. It's just, it sucks that like, one, that the family fell apart like this, and two, that it got aired out like this. But like, I don't know. I don't feel a whole lot of sympathy for anybody.
From the family perspective, like the closing of that piece to where it's just like they still haven't been in the same room since potentially since Jerry Buss died. Like that just kind of sucks enough as someone who is close with like my sisters, like that just kind of sucks. Like
Well,
to think
you
about.
guys don't own a $10 billion franchise. Let's see how close you'd
Excuse
be.
me, how do you know they don't have an ownership stake in this podcast?
That's true. Sorry, I don't. Sure.
Was there anything else that said? Do you absolutely? The other thing that was just, it felt like the payouts to Kurt Rambis and Linda Rambis and just like the bonuses that were. I do not believe for a minute that Mark Walters, that's his name, right? I always forget his name. Came in and that was the offer. That thing was negotiated and then it was brought to everybody else, right? Like that was very. You're also the lawyer here. That's what it reeked of to me.
I mean, what's the argument? Yeah, I'm not persuaded. I don't know what the argument is.
The article was presented as an, maybe they didn't even say that, but like you negotiated without anyone else, like members of the trust negotiating with this guy. Was that like?
Well, and wasn't it 24-8 because of Kobe's numbers? Wasn't that in the piece too? Like that's how they decided.
So they came in with an offer that was just like, yeah, we're gonna get like the Rambises need this $32 million in total for sure.
Good for the Rambises. They keep coming up.
Yo, shout out Linda. Tripled up Kurt.
Good job. Yeah, right. Yeah. How's Kurt feel about this? Let's get the 7,000 word feature on his feelings.
It is a bummer to like hear that, but I think the one thing that if this was the logic, she absolutely was right that the Lakers can't compete with the way that other NBA teams are being run. And we're how many years away do you think we are from a more direct infusion of Saudi Arabian representatives buying into NBA teams as they continue to sports wash? It's already happening.
I was going to say the moment that NBA Europe gets off the ground, like that's where all that money is going to come from. I assume that's like one of the drive. I don't know. How cynical do you want to get? Like it's just, how different.
I'm saying that's to me, one of the most salient points was if she felt that they weren't going to be able to keep up financially with the way that other teams are running their franchises,
which
she was.
I'm sorry. If you're the Lakers, you can't keep up. If you're the Lakers and you feel like you can't keep up, that's on you, man. You have every other advantage you could possibly want in a competitive setting.
They were only making $5 million in dividends per year.
Figure it out.
They got families to feed.
Do better. Be better at this. It's just like the Lakers are such a lucrative, marketable. Like it's the Lakers. Are the Yankees complaining? Like what? I don't understand. I don't care who owns it.
To be fair, they probably are.
Well, now they are. Yeah, to the Dodgers. Well, because this ownership group's gonna make everybody else complain. Yeah, I right. But like, I just can't. You have every advantage as the Lakers. Like if you can't be profitable, is that the argument? Or it's like it's harder for you to be profitable just because you're a family run operation and you don't have all these deep pocketed investors.
Well, I guess it would come back to being profitable, but I more so looked at it as like investing in but I guess the benefit to them is they're always going to have a LeBron happens or a Luka Doncic happens, but I meant more so investing in the rest of the organization when it comes to if you're a team that's spent big on the top of your roster, how are you going to find these? Like, are you investing as much in analytics in the scouting department? Isn't those areas where it's always been reported and just known around like the league circles, the Lakers kind of lack? So if you weren't, I'm not saying they couldn't. This is, we give billionaires too much like leeway to begin with, where she's like, like the Thunder are gonna have to bust up their team in a year or two because they could just pay the penalties and deal with the like they don't have to do that. But if the reality was we're not going to we're not going to operate in this level of black, we're going to operate, it has to be at a higher level of black, then she is correct that no, you can't compete with like these tech moguls so. That I would agree with, but you are right. I'm probably underselling the brand, the convenience of the brand of being the Lakers.
It just seems like you have access to so many other ways to make money that other teams don't, just like your market size alone, right? Like in your international like brand recognition, like all this other stuff that the Lakers have on every other team in the league. Like the Knicks, I guess, are the only other one you'd say is like kind of can operate exceptionally in certain ways because it's the Knicks. There's only a few teams in each sport where it's like, well, it's the Knicks, it's the Lakers, it's the Dodgers, it's the Yankees. Like they're one of those teams. If you can't figure out how to compete with other teams that like, I don't know, you just ask a random person on the street, like, can you name how many NBA teams can you name? Like, they're going to say the Lakers before they say anybody else. So I don't know. It seems to suggest there are avenues towards being profitable that other teams don't have.
Anyway. The Pelicans erasure in that exercise was just
they're
horrendous.
Pretty, yeah, great example.
Do you have anything else, or are you ready to take us out of here?
No, I think that's going to do it. Thanks everybody for listening, for watching. Rate, review, subscribe, comment on YouTube. Let us, if you disagree with us about the Lakers, kind of like we could talk about everything transactionally, but then it comes down to like trading 3 firsts is better than trading 1. Like if we have oversimplified
just boiled it down to
in that conclusion, let us know. Let us know what they should do with their resources. If there's a middle path they can execute that we didn't think of. Join our Discord, links for that in the YouTube and podcast description. Shouts, Frank Ntilikina. Apologies, Jared Allen.